Hello guys and welcome to Moto Explorers 555. Today we're continuing doing some work to my Africa Twin. We already done the oil change, filter change, we done the brake fluid change. And now we're gonna change the filters, air filters, as well as we're gonna replace the coolant. To do both tasks we need to actually remove the fairing. So you need to remove this left hand side and the right hand side, as the air filters are located on this upper area behind the fairing. And to access the water cooling system we actually need to come off down this side on the right hand side in order to access the radiator. So obviously we need to remove these fairings, and to do that we already removed the windscreen from here just to facilitate a little bit the process. But just to show you, in terms of removing the fairing, you got three main screws. So if you come back this way, we have one located behind there, which is a 5mm. Yeah, perfect, just there, which I just removed. It's just over there, so it's a 5mm. You also come down this way, there's another 5mm there, and there's another one down here.
These are 5mm Allen keys.
Allen keys, correct, yeah. So once those three are removed from here, then we need to head down towards the lower part of the fairing, and we can see down here we have one, two, behind there is 1, 3, and another one behind 4, which are clip-on. You actually need to push in the middle to release them, and then you have a tool like this that we can use to then get underneath and pull the plug down. You also have a few more down here, so you go 1, 2, 3 more down this side, and then you go a Phillips screwdriver there. So it's exactly the same on the other side. We will proceed to loosen them up, taking them off, and then we'll come back to show you when we start removing them. So now that we have press in the middle to release the pin, we just go inside with a tool like this, and then we pull them out. Depends on the angle, sometimes one, two, three. Come back to here. Got that one. Perfect. Yeah.
So it will be the same procedure on this side. So we're just gonna get on with that. The little Phillips, we already loosened it as well. So that's the Phillips there. Phillips screw.
All right guys, once we have removed all the little holders, this whole thing here needs to come off. And it's got kind of little lips on the end, so you need to just pull towards the inside of the bike to try to release them, like so. And then you can see those will start coming off. There you go. And the same on this side. There you go. See those little things? They connect into those there. So yeah, that's basically the way to come. And it's a bit of evidence that we've been off-roading on the bike at some point.
Yeah.
Okay, so then once that is out, we will start the process of starting to remove the big panels on the side. And you normally start from the front towards the back. So we'll start doing that now.
And I think in this particular one, the crash bars fitted don't interfere with the with the panels, right?
Yeah, thankfully I've done it before, so thankfully they don't.
Yeah.
But some are, depends on which. These are Outback MotorTech only on the lower part of the.
Yeah. So these crash bars are the Outback
MotorTech. Yeah.
MotorTech, and these are for the lower section. So if you have the top crash bars, most likely you would have to remove them in order to get the fairings out. Right, so
we'll loosen them up a little bit and I'll come back and explain you. So we continue on the removal of the fairings. So as you can see on this right hand side of the bike, we have already removed the fairing, and that will allow us access to the top of the radiator to replace the fluid, but also give us the access here to this cover that once removed we will be able to replace the air filter. So in terms of removing the fairing, a couple of tips if you want is a good place to start is here at the front, and using perhaps a tool like this, plastic not to damage, is making sure that we pull, because as you can see you go a little plastic there, and then you got that nipple there that if we were to remove from that side and bring the things, we need to ensure that this comes forward so it doesn't break by turning the fairing. So we just loosened this up, we took that one out, and there is also another nipple just there, which again needs to come up forward. And if we move into this side now, in this joint here, we have a little clip, yeah. So I'm gonna try to, hold on. Okay, so coming back here, you can see the little clip. So again, using a tool like that, we would just, there you go, release it, and it comes out. So now we go that loose.
It will make a noise like clack is coming out of there.
This will now just loosen up as we move along. The next one is underneath there, underneath the Honda, we again have another nipple, which we will need to try. There you go. It's just come out. Yeah.
So it's just those little plastic bits that are plugged into the sides, and then there will be another one somewhere here, same as the other side. However, I think we have in this side we have a couple of tie bands we need to cut, perhaps.
Oh yeah, that's it, because that they put on the when we're running the cables in.
Yeah, the cables are holding onto these tie bands. We fitted those because we fitted perhaps the lights and whatever other things. So we're just gonna cut those. So technically, you wouldn't have that on your bike.
I thought I removed them all, but there you go, going here.
So we removed the other side. I think we forgot this side.
I forgot that one there.
So with that out, that should be able to pop out. So I would say just obviously take your time, because you don't really want to break those little pins that slide into those rubber little mounts basically. And
so I think the other problem I'm having here is that we installed these lights. I think I didn't have the problem there, but I think I have the problem on this side. So potentially
the light potentially is obstructing a little bit the release of that side of the fairing. But basically once you loosen this and this and that, it kind of technically slides, the whole thing comes out. But it is a bit of a fiddle, I'm not gonna lie. It's not as easy as it may be shown or maybe seen in some of the videos.
Make it look very easy, but it's not that easy.
It's not really.
Sorry, let me just cut it.
So that's come out.
There you go.
Okay, yeah. Clearly there is another clip or so that is holding. So in this case, I'm not sure we can actually get it out of there, but But if we have access to the air filter, perhaps we don't need to remove it completely. What do you think?
Yeah, correct. But I think it's coming out anyway.
Yeah?
Yeah.
It looks like it might be coming out anyway.
Yeah, but I think we'll just leave it now for now there. Because I don't think we probably need to do any more at this stage. Because we just need to access to that.
We need access in this side. On this side, we just need access to here for the air filter. At the other side, we need a bit more access for the radiator cup. But yeah, basically you have these rubber mounts and those bits there that clip onto there, and obviously taking them out is a bit hard. And also you have a few plastic clips as well that it's all clips and you don't want to break them, so take your time removing it. It will come out. So now we are going to start perhaps with the coolant drain.
No, we'll just do the air filters first quickly, and then we'll...
Okay, so we'll do the air filters first. What is it, 2 air filters?
2, yeah, there's one on this side and one on the other side.
And what do we need for that then? Do we need a Phillips screwdriver?
Yeah, they're pretty straightforward. You just go one there, the second, and I think there's a third down there. So once we remove those 3 Phillips screwdriver, we remove the screws, then we should be able to just, this comes off. We pull this from the air intake, so we just pull this out, come out, and it's pretty straightforward to change. So we'll show you now as we go along. Alright guys, so we're gonna be now changing the right hand side air filter. We already done the left hand side of the bike, so it's already been changed. And the reason why we're showing you the other one is because on this side we had these added electrical from the electrical loom into the bike, which makes it a little bit more difficult to bring this one out. So just bear that in mind, that it's a fourth screw behind this, which is not easy to get to. But anyway, if we go now to the other side, I will explain you that a little bit more. So as you can see, the air filter cover, you go 4 Phillips screwdrivers. So you go 4 Phillips screws, 1, 2, 3, and 4. There is also, so that's, you go one there, one there, one at the top here, and another one there, so that's 4. Just in case, we may have said that there is 3 on the other side, there is actually 4. And we also recommend using this 5mm socket. Just remove that screw from there. It will make it easier to remove this part of the air filter cover. And right behind here there is what is it called? There is a little rubber mount type of holding point just there, up in just around there. Yeah, that needs to be pushed forward in order to allow us to remove that part of the cover. So that little rubber mount needs to go forwards in order to release this pipe. And we're also going to open this little bit a bit by releasing this 5mm Allen key. And obviously my brother is gonna go ahead and remove all the 4 screws that are holding the casing. There we go. And once he removes that, we're gonna tackle the little rubber there. Sorry about the lighting, guys. It's now quite well, it's late in the afternoon, but as we are on winter time, it becomes darker much earlier, so light is not as good, but hopefully it's clear enough for you to see. That's the third, which normally stays there, but I'll just pull it out, I think. And I'm gonna go to the fourth.
The 2 screws at the bottom, they seem to be in little casings that sort of prevent them from falling. You can't take them out, but you can also leave them in there.
Yeah.
but
position.
hopefully they don't interfere with the removal. So
We should be able
that's
loosen
nice
that.
and loose now. And what we want to do then, it's probably remove the little rubber mount that's behind that pipe. So for that, what we did is we used this tool here. Sorry, if I can try and film this. So in order not to pull this out, if you push it sort of forwards,
Almost, there you go.
Okay.
Got it.
so not sure that can be seen, but that is out.
Yeah, perfect.
And now we can proceed to sort of pulling that by opening that cover a little bit. Makes it a little bit easier. And then the whole casing sort of comes forwards. Like so.
And that's
the old filter. It's been there for 13,000 miles. I think they recommend to change it 12,000
every 12,000 miles.
miles.
So the bike right now is go 13,000 miles, and that's just as a comparison, a brand new filter. You can see the difference in terms of how dirty that one is.
So yes, worth a change. And now to remove that filter is another 2 Phillips screws.
Yeah, which are pretty straightforward, just here.
So we hope that the little tips here will help. We have seen other videos where they seem to remove things a
lot easier.
They seem to come out like nothing has happened, but to be honest, I'm not sure how they do it. Maybe they have more experience as well. I just don't know, but it's worth taking your time just so you avoid breaking things. So there's the filters out, and we can go ahead and
I am just going to quickly blow.
So you could use, we just lucky enough have an air gun. You can use the air gun to clean inside there, and also probably blow the casing as well.
Yeah, which we'll do in a minute. I'll just put this one first. So the actual replacing of the filter is pretty much straightforward in terms of this quick change. There you go. But before we put the cover back here, which we will show you in a few minutes, we will proceed to do some work with the coolant, and then once we have finished with the coolant, we will be coming back to put the cover back and show you how that looks like.
Yes.
We're here back again with the Africa Twin. So as you know, we've been doing a bit of work recently. We just changed the air filter, but we're taking advantage since we got the cover off. We're also replacing the coolant fluid today, and to do that we're going to start draining completely the system. Honda recommends 1.65 liters of the ready-to-use coolant, and we got the original Honda, so it's 1.65 liters that need to be replaced in that. They also recommend when we're doing the coolant that we should remove the reservoir for the coolant, which is located down here. But to do that, you need to basically remove the shock absorber, remove the rear wheel, and that's not something we will be doing now. We done a visual inspection and it seems to be that it's clean. So as we flush, we're just going to double check that it's all clean inside, and therefore avoiding quite a bit of work if it's not really necessary. So in order to drain, the first thing we need to do is we're going to be opening the radiator cover and removing this out just so allow it to take air and therefore flush the system. And I'm also going to be removing the cover of the coolant reservoir, which is located down here. Yeah. So now I go air on both occasions, and then down here you go three bolts. So you go one there, one in the middle, and one here. So I will be removing the one in the middle in order to drain the coolant. So I'll proceed to do that now.
And we're using a 5mm Allen key again.
Yeah, we'll allow it just to
press the center button and remove that.
Yeah, that's it.
So slowly, because it will sort of
jump everywhere otherwise.
Start coming out. And it's only 1.65 liters of coolant, so it isn't really a lot. These are 1 liter cans, I think, so that's why we have 2 of those. Okay. So that's the coolant coming out. Shouldn't really take long. Okay, quite a lot of it is out, and so the plan is we're going to use this little device here, or at least we're going to try to remove some of the coolant from the reservoir. So I normally use this to calculate the percentage of antifreeze for winter, but we're not really doing that right now. We're just using it to remove whatever coolant may be in there.
So I think we'll repeat that a few times, and once we are with that empty, we'll take it through the next step. It's working though. Right, so we're back here, guys. So we basically now have drained the coolant system, and we have drained almost absolutely everything that was inside the reservoir, and you can see it's nice and clear inside. So we checked that, and we're happy that it's good to continue. So what we did now, we put the bolt back, which is now in position. So I'm going to proceed now to tighten that up, and the instructions state that needs to be tightened to 13 Newton meter of torque. So I'm just going to proceed and tighten that up. Okay, so that's giving me 13. So that's now tightened to the correct specs. And what we're going to do now is proceed to replace the coolant from the radiator cap.
And just to recap the bolt, we couldn't get a washer. We couldn't get a copper washer, so we reused the old one. But it should be okay. It was no damage. There was no damage on it or anything. But ideally, if you can get a new one, that's better. But if you can't, then you can reuse the old one. So now my brother is topping up the new coolant. So we're gonna first top up 1 liter.
Once I finish with this, I'm just gonna check if there's any leaks from the screw we just put back. That's the first one. Just checking to see if there's any leaks or anything happening down there. Yeah, all seems quite nice. And
We'll double check it once the bike is running.
yeah.
And now we have to measure 0.6.
Yeah.
Well, 0.65.
That's it. So off we go.
Okay, so that's pretty much full, and that's how it was when we opened that cap, which means the rest of that coolant, I mean, there are some bubbles going in, coming out, but
I think we need to let it run for a little while. Once we cover that, ensure that the liquid circulates. But sometimes you need to put the residual into the reservoir.
yes, so in the reservoir there is a mark that says upper, and that's where you want your coolant to be at as well. So I can hear this gargling.
It's still going down.
So I'm guessing some of the coolant is still making its way down. And
so we'll come back in a second and confirm.
yeah, we'll let it gargle a little bit. Okay, so we can't really put any more. It's not going down anymore. But what we're going to do is just close the radiator, and then
So then we're gonna now run the bike for about 3 minutes as recommended on the manual. So we're gonna run the bike, at the same time check for leaks. That should allow the system to, the coolant to circulate everywhere and clear also any air that may be on the system. And then we'll check again to top up the rest of the coolant, as we still have about, I think, 400 ml to go into the system. So let's put the back on.
our reservoir is open. By the way, we haven't closed it, but possibly some of the rest of the coolant will have to go in there. There is a bit of smoke because some of the coolant that dripped down from the drain plug went onto the exhaust. So anyway, that's gonna burn off, and well, we'll let it run for a few minutes. Okay, bike is off. Just been running for a bit. I mean, not long, but
Just be careful when you open
should be able to open this without any obviously if the bike is really hot, don't ever open this here. So now that looks, yeah, that does need some fluid.
We also have checked, and there is no leaks from that, which is pretty good. We can also see that the reservoir is still in need of a
top up,
and the upper mark can be seen just behind there. So I can see at the moment that the reservoir is technically empty. So maybe we can just about see the mark there. It says upper. Yeah, there's the mark that says upper, and that's where we want the coolant to be when we finish. Yeah. So we're gonna have to top it up, and we also need to top up the radiator a little bit here. So I'll proceed with.
Or we'll have to be a little bit
topping up a little bit here. Yep, some at the top.
Yep, that is full.
And I'm gonna proceed to top up now the reservoir.
So now we can. We'll get a funnel for that. So we just got a little funnel there in order to be able to get the coolant into that expansion tank or reservoir.
Just gonna have a quick check.
I think maybe that's about
a little bit more. There.
I think a tiny bit.
Yeah, tiny bit. Yeah, I am now right at just at the upper level on the mark.
So that
you got a little bit of.
You can see the coolant there. It's a bit difficult to show you, but we can. If you shine a light to it, you'll be able to see that there is. And we have here possibly about 100 mil left.
Which once we're ready to run again.
But I think we maybe run the bike again and get rid of whatever extra bubbles there might be in there, obviously kind of bleeding the system here, and then we may have to top up a little bit more coolant there, but I think because we haven't removed the reservoir completely, it could be that there is some coolant on the line left from before. So we'll run the bike a little bit again and then check this radiator again. So I just removed the radiator cap because it might be that whatever air needs to come out, it's better if this is off for a bit. Obviously you don't want the bike to get really hot because obviously coolant can start coming out of it. But if we run it for a few minutes, that shouldn't be a problem. Okay, Okay, so we just left the bike running. I put that back on, by the way. The coolant was going down a little bit. I topped it up a little bit, put that back on. Now the fan is working. So the fan just went on. So that means the water must be circulating all around now. So now we can potentially switch the bike off again and check the levels again. Okay, so this is a bit hot now because we left it running for a little while until those fans came on, so that way the water circulates properly all around the system, the thermostat and whatnot. The reservoir we left open and still at the upper limit, no?
Yeah, no change with that.
Yeah, so
It all seems good.
we're gonna leave it to cool down a little bit. I think we only have maybe 50 ml left of coolant that technically should go in there, but like we said before, it might be that there was a little bit left on the hoses since we didn't remove that reservoir. So we'll check in a minute and come back. So we just waited a little bit for it to cool down. I opened this again and there was a little bit that needed to be topped up. So I topped up a little bit and then there was another little bit to top up down at the expansion tank or reservoir down there. And that pretty much took all the coolant. So we had no coolant left in the end. So we are happy with this now and we can proceed to refit our filter cover. And I think my brother is getting on with fitting this side of the...
Yeah, so I just fitted that back, so we'll take it down and show you how to do it on the other side.
Yeah, so hopefully it's a little bit easier than removing it, but it's all hopeful. Yeah, it should be okay.
Okay, so as you seen, guys, we put the air filter back, screw those two screws back in there, and now what we're going to do, we're going to put the filter casing back. We just gave it a bit of a clean, and so after we give it a clean, make sure these screws are pushed back, and you got these little two pieces that need to slide back in there on the holes that you can see there. So we're just going to go now and put this back into position. Let's put that back in there. There we go. And I need to bend that a little bit to get it in. There you go. That's it. So I'll make it a bit easier to bend in position. Okay, and the lock that we had here, we just need to use the same tool as we had before. This one to push it back into position, just down there.
So with that tool, that little rubber mount, we just push it forwards a little bit and hook it back into the mount that it was. It's not really difficult. Just the same way we took it out, we put it back in. It's a bit fiddly, but
if I can do it, anyone can.
If he can do it, then is it done?
Yeah.
Okay, so that is done. So just make sure that it's sitting nicely in position, back as it was. I think it needs to go back a little bit.
I'll try.
No, is it? Ah, there we are. Now it's sitting a bit better.
Okay, so just now the screws back.
Put the 4 screws back and don't forget your screw here.
It's a lovely winter afternoon, isn't it? Are you frozen?
Yeah. So it is very cold now out here. It's 6:30. It's dinner time.
Good.
Okay, I may need my 2 hands to get that screw back in there. But
Right, so it's all done. And let me have that one back.
5mm Allen key to get that screw back in there. And after that, we're going to have our fairing going back. And
Okay, so in terms of the air filter change, that would be it. Now it's just a matter of putting the fairing back into position and we should be okay to go. So we'll take you through that in a minute.
And I think the main pointers with the fairing is that when you put it back, you make sure it
Grooves.
hooks into these grooves here and here. Otherwise, it's not going to look nice. It needs to sort of clip onto here, here, and then here as well.
Yeah, you can see the corresponding. Who's there? You should go that one there, and you got that one there. Just make sure that those fit in properly, so then it will sit correctly.
So I'm not sure if there's a specific way of fitting this, but I think you find out when you're doing it.
I think we found that going through the front, putting it into position and then starting a bit from the front and the middle, putting the parts together helps rather than one specific location. But before we do put it on, I just wanted to check a couple of cables there, so we'll show them in a minute.
Okay.
Alright guys, so we just literally temporarily just put this fairing back into what we believe will be the position. You can see here some markers to help you, so that is ready to, oops, there you go, ready to go into the right place. And then we just need to make sure that these grooves that we were mentioning earlier on need to be as close into position as possible. Can you see now how's that fit in there? And once you kind of have those in place, which will be the same here, is that they start working through it slowly, getting the what we call nipples back into place in the frame. So we will move into start doing that now. Take your time as you are doing it. Just be careful. It's a bit of fiddly moving it from left to right, but eventually it does come in. So we'll continue doing that now and then show you once we are done. All right, guys, so we finish putting the fairing back on. As we said, you need to take a bit of your time to put it back together. These grooves here are particularly tricky. We need to make sure that those are in place in order for everything to fit correctly. But yeah, that's been done. Put all the screws back and the clips as we showed you earlier on. So you got quite a few that go around here, and we also put the plate back here that we earlier on showed you that it needed to be removed. So all in all, it's back in place now. So we hope you find this video useful. Please support us by liking our video and subscribing, and yeah, enjoy your riding. Thank you.
Thank you for watching. If you have any questions, you can leave us a question down and in the comments below. Otherwise, well, hope the guide was good. Thank you for watching.